If you want more dates, look like The Rock.
Yeah.
Don't look like a bodybuilder. What's up, everybody? We've got another episode of It's Just Bodybuilding. I am not Big Ron Partlow, obviously, but this is Scott McNally. I'm Dusty Hanshaw, and today we have an episode without Big Ron because he had, well, better things to do. Actually, it's because he's out saving the world, getting us another mutant on a mission, and I'm envious, which is why I'm already talking trash, because he's at the shed training with James Hollingshead, getting us all a video. I had hoped to go out, but it wasn't going to work with the shows. So here we are. As always, we got to lead the show with the work.
Yes.
Remember to comment, share, subscribe, and I got to do it. Ring the bell.
You did it all. You did it all.
I did it all. It's very stressful. I don't even, you know what's funny? I never listen to all the words that Ron says.
You just hear the cadence.
I just wait for my moment. And I'm like, what are the other? I was actually practicing in the mirror earlier. No, but I should have because it was bad.
Probably you should have practiced this a couple times.
Don't forget, I am mutant.com, proud supporters of the show. And remember to use the codes. This week, I need everyone to use Big Ron 20 because I think he probably feels a little bad. So this week, we're going to turn his code on. It's going to work. But if you really can't handle supporting a guy who doesn't like sandwiches, Dusty 20 will still work. We'll save the 20%. We'll get you all your things. We can get you your mind and as well as your gear. And I'm going to just stick with the ones I like. You got to have some ISO surge in your life. Chocolate, the triple chocolate. Good to go. So, Scott, what do we have today?
We've got a bunch of stuff.
Hard work. You were prepared for Ron not being here, which made my life a lot easier.
That was good. So. Well, you've got some stuff. I've got some stuff. We're going to hold this together, and I'll tell you guys, Ron feels bad when he can't make it to the show, but he is out doing the work of making bodybuilding better, recording another Mutant on a Mission. So yeah. So we've got some topics though, and for starters, we're going to make this one really quick. Somebody asked us, do more plates actually equal more dates?
I think most of the people that are watching this know that if we're going to say more plates equal more dates, these are bro dates. That's the only, you can go out with your boys. I mean, it's just a common fact. And I think what I did, Scott, was I at a young age, I realized that not much at all was going to equal more dates. So I might as well just get huge and blame it on that. And that's what I went with. So yeah, no, it's funny. For me, I've never had a woman that was even like that bodybuilding was a connection. It was just like, he's fine for whatever reasons, and I'll put up with the bodybuilding, or they might like it, but they definitely even Nikki, her thing with bodybuilding, she would much rather, like, even when I lean down because I choose to, she just likes like big. She'd much rather I was 290 right now and soft. She just thinks, that looks better than, she doesn't like abs and all that. And that's the other thing. There's a flip of the coin. I'm not even talking about being big. She's like, I want some fat. And I'm like, no. So, as always, I'm disappointing ladies by staying leaner than she would like. And my youngest daughter, same thing. Her boyfriend wants to get lean, and she pretty much kiboshed it. And was
there is no question in my mind, Dusty, that dudes who lift weights only get attention from other dudes who want to get as big as they are so that they can get attention from other dudes. It's a circle of life in the gym. That's how it goes. But that's how we bond together. You know, I see a guy and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy looks serious. You know what I mean? It's like, that guy looks like he's putting some work in. He's all right by me. You know what I mean? That's like, now we're on the same level kind of thing. But the reality is, and I think I mentioned this before, we get so engrossed in the energy, in the industry of bodybuilding and in the world of this, that it starts to become hard to tell if somebody actually is big or not. Like, I look at you and I'm like, oh yeah, Dusty's big. But then I take a guy who's like 220 and he's definitely serious about training, but he doesn't have like 23-inch arms. And then I honestly, I can't tell if they lift weights or not. Like,
if they're in a t-shirt,
yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Do you lift weights? And anybody else is like, oh, that dude's huge, you know?
Right. Yeah. The word huge is interesting because you'll hear that about like an athlete. And because we have a warped understanding of huge.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Rock? He's huge. I'm like, I've trained right next to him. He is not huge.
I've never seen him like next to a bodybuilder. Like how where would you put him? Like how close is he to being like bodybuilder size?
Not even close.
Yeah.
He's like athlete size, you know?
Yep.
If you want more dates, look like The Rock.
Yeah.
Don't look like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I think that's the line is you want to look like you have some muscle and you work out. But I think that looking good in clothes matters too. Like this has been the greatest victory of my retirement is I can buy clothes.
Yeah.
And I shop at the nicest establishments. Target, great place. $9 t-shirt, win. So yeah, I couldn't go to Target before.
Oh yeah.
They didn't have clothes that fit me. So it's like I wore tents all the time. People are like, oh, you really like baggy shirts? I'm like, I just look like crap and everything. So these are cheap. So they're fine.
Like I think when I think of the extreme version of that, I think of Sean Clarita, where he has this
God.
like
He literally
4X
stole my
shirt
clothes.
on. Yeah, he's got like a 4X shirt on. It's coming down to his knees, and then he's got like a hoodie on over that. And if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, "Is that guy obese? Does he have a health condition?" Like if you didn't know he was a bodybuilder, you just saw him covered up in clothes. You're like, "Oh man, that's a very fat man over there," you know?
You know what I love about Sean too, which now we're way off topic like always, is he's never, ever not in shape.
Oh yeah.
So it's like even at the booth, he wears t-shirts, and when he peeled down at Dino's the other day, I mean, I already knew, but I was still like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have an ugly off season. He has a beautiful off season. Like everything just gets rounder, and yeah, he's a little softer, but I would never use that 3-letter word that I would use on myself all the time. You know, fat.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, he looks fantastic. So I love that about him though, because at the end of the day, to kind of tie off the subject, that's when you know you love this. Is it doesn't even cross your mind if people like it.
Yeah.
And I was telling Nikki about this just 2 nights ago that I really did enjoy hearing people say negative things in public. Because if you're in shape, you just hear them when they walk by, that's gross.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know, and the one thing I will add to help those who do care is my track record does prove that there are women that like muscle. So you should be fine, and you will find in the industry, I think that it's a helpful thing because a lot of people, maybe it's not that a lot of these women love muscle, but they want someone that understands their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it is easier in that regard to have somebody who gets what you're doing and truly supports it. And the right person in the industry, keyword, then you guys can combine and things get pretty little easier to function, I think. But that's just me. So they do exist, but I think at the end of the day, fellas, if you don't have a personality or a very big wallet, you will struggle.
So we've got a bunch of stuff here. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole question because it's like a paragraph. I'm going to try to sum it up, and it's from Brant. And he says, he actually says, so last 5-minute crew, friend of Rond and annoyance of Dusty. Do you know Brant Dunn is his name? That's what it says on here. He says
an annoyance of me?
Yeah, he says annoyance of Dusty's here.
Oh, I don't agree with that, but go ahead.
Okay. He says, question. How do I push my coaching services on people, advertise my business without being one of those annoying, cringy, hire me and change your life kind of guys? He says, I've been training for 17 years, competing for 12 and coaching competitively for the last, competitive athletes for the last 9. I believe that I really do have what it takes. Let's see. And what I'm doing, comes to helping others. He says, but he's terrible at advertising, coaches 1 to 3 competitive bodybuilders a year and a handful of lifestyle people, but he would like to increase those numbers significantly. He says he does work a real full-time job. And he currently only has a personal IG account. That was basically more or less what he said.
Got it. First off, I hate that I got him thinking he annoys me. I'm like, man, I got to reestablish something. I'm like, Oh, he's saying he is. No, you're not. You know what, Scott? I think I'd like to get your take first, because I want to hear how did you go about building? Because he's already doing it, which I know you were a little bit. So how did you take it to the next level where it became full-time with the podcasting?
Wow. So the podcasting was just a means of advertising for my coaching initially. Like that's really, what it was. But all you have to do is invest every waking hour into a podcast and wrangle in a bunch of really cool people from the bodybuilding world, like Dusty and Ron and everybody else, and just dedicate your life to churning out podcasts. You never have to advertise a day in your life. That's all you have to do.
Easy. Just trade your life for it.
Yeah. No, when I first started coaching, it kind of just snowballed. It was one of those things where I had people asking me questions, and I was giving away advice for free. And I actually remember all the way back in like before Heavy Muscle Radio, No Bull Radio with Dave Palumbo and John Romano.
Oh yeah.
And Dave went on one of his tirades, and he was saying like, if you want to be in the industry, then just keep doing what you love, and eventually it'll start to make money for you. I was like, okay. And honestly, at that time, I was sitting on my couch and I was thinking to myself, like, I remember sitting in my apartment, playing it on my computer, which was sitting next to me, and thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to do that. And I was answering questions on the message boards, and I just kept answering questions and kept answering questions. And then I started my own thread that ended up getting stickied at the top of the board, and it ended up getting like thousands and thousands of replies. And then a company reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to answer questions at our website, and we'll pay you per month. We'll pay you money to answer questions. I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. And all the while, I still had people asking me outside of that. And I realized I got to a point, it was kind of unintentional. Like I just was helping, knowing eventually this will somehow work into something. I got to a point where I knew that I couldn't keep doing this at the level I was unless I was making some sort of money. And so I just, from there, I started charging people, and I charged very little. I still don't charge enough. I'm going to be completely honest, Dusty. My rates are always like historically lower than other people's, and I know that I undervalue what I do. But I, over time, that just built and built and built. And then, like I said, 2015, I decided to start a podcast. And part of it was because I just freaking love bodybuilding, and I wanted to be able to do a show my own way. And it kind of just grew from there. And honestly, I don't advertise now. It's always been word of mouth. And if he's coaching a few people, I guess my advice to him would be just, you don't have to shove it down people's throats. I would say he's got a full-time job, right? So, and it sounds like he's doing something good. He says he has a full-time job for a chemical company. My thought would be...
sell those too. Oh, not those chemicals. Sorry.
Oh, that's something... Isn't that part of coaching?
Sorry. Pyramid. Never mind. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. I asked Victoria to bring me some water.
She's such a great wife.
Yeah, I don't know, Dusty. Should I explain any other aspects of that? Because
you actually covered things I wasn't thinking about that are great. And the reason that I deferred is because I do the same thing. I just have found that over time, people, and I've actually thought about it. I should for my clients, which I probably will. Clients, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start offering a discount on referrals for their monthly.
Oh, okay.
Because I've never done that, and I just thought of it just now, like because they do refer people. Yeah. Because they're great clients, and literally during this conversation, I'm like, oh, I should probably say thank you, and that's a great way to do it. Because if you give someone a good experience, this is for me, Scott, prior to having any name in the industry at all. Yeah. I got into coaching because I coached my first wife for a show because we were poor. Yeah. And I did it, and she did awesome. Yep. And then I had like 3 or 4 girls from the show, and it was old school. I was backstage helping her. Oh yeah. Because she needed my help. She didn't know what to do. So, I mean, you're doing the whole thing. So then people see her do well, and then they ask, oh, do you coach people? Sure. And then I took those 4 girls for free, and I trained them. Yeah. And then same as you, it went on for about 2 years where I didn't make a penny, but I was having fun. I was like, this is cool, and I have a job. And finally I was like, okay, I should probably charge. So I started charging, And that was that. And I actually stopped coaching for a few years. I really couldn't tell you why I would have done that, but I did. I was busy running the businesses, doing bodybuilding, and I could have handled all three. And the version of me that's alive now would have never stopped.
Yeah.
Because I still enjoyed it. It was never a hindrance, you know? And I think that is probably the biggest thing that I would suggest is make sure you're doing it because you love doing it. Because when I speak to people who work with friends, a very common thing is they can tell that their coach loves coaching. Mm-hmm. They're invested in it. They're enjoying it. It's not just the money. When Ron and I travel, I've never asked clients for an extension of time. I give you 24 hours. Got married, 24 hours. Travel, 24 hours. Nikki show, 24 hours. It doesn't stop because I like doing it. Vacation, I don't stop working. Yeah. When you like doing it, I think people catch that. So make sure you're doing that. And I think it'll all just kind of work itself out. I mean, if he knows what he's doing, if nothing else locally, it'll build. Oh, nice jacket.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes. You like that?
Only a few people have that, Gem.
Is that true?
Yeah, there's probably 30 of those in the world.
You're kidding
That's
me.
the Arnold. Yeah, that's only us. Only those on the team, if you catch what I just said, Scott.
I like that. Lost my focus. There we go. All right. I wanted to add one more thing, Dusty.
Yes.
So just one other thing I did was I didn't have the confidence at first to coach. Mm-hmm. I felt like, should I really be taking people's money? There's people that have done this a lot longer than me. I always made sure that I worked with people that were at a level that I could help. Meaning, I wasn't like shooting for Mr. Olympia, to out the gate, right? It's like I knew, like, hey, I've gotten in shape before. You've never gotten in shape? Okay, then I could probably help you do that better than you can help yourself.
Right.
That's how I started. And then one of the steps I took to give myself confidence was while working with that supplement company and answering questions for them, we set up a program where I took on 10 people and coached them for free. And we did a weekly blog on their progress. And I said exactly what I was doing. Basically, I gave everybody my quote unquote secrets, Yeah. I said, this is what we're doing. This is where we're changing the food. This is where we're adding these compounds. This is what's going on. Just educating people along the way. And I ended up doing that all the way through, showed the befores and afters. Everybody got to follow along and learn along. I did it again for free. And then the third time I said, all right, now I'm going to charge. I got 10 people. I charged them all 10 up front. And I said, this is what we're going to do for the next 16 weeks. And then I used that money as like a nest egg so that I could tell my full-time job that I was quitting.
That's a good moment.
Because I thought, like, that way I've got these 10 people. That's, I already had other clients, but I was like, I've got these 10 people. I've got this project to work on. And now I've got at least a few months rent paid ahead of time. I got a little bit of, because dude, what I was doing before, man, I couldn't save money. Like I literally was living, I was thinking about it recently. I was living like month to month,
Yeah. No, it's a scary thing. I love that you shared that too, because that was just genius marketing, whether you meant to or not. I mean, genius. And one more thing, because I like to push this out there for people, is everyone complains. Oh, you do a show and you think you're a coach. Well, no one's making them hire these guys. I don't mind if people want to coach. I don't, you should know your role, like you said, because I can tell you this much right now, and any coach who's different than me, hats off to you. But when I look back at what I used to do, I was like, wow, I had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And I learned it by doing it. And I learned it by being around other people. We really enjoy looking down our nose at people who are where we used to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, when did I start? I had done a couple shows. I didn't know everything. The difference was, I think the one caveat to that is I didn't claim I knew everything. I claimed I was a beginner. I told people I was learning, and that's why it was free, or that's why it was discounted. Yeah. And my good client, Jesse Chase, obviously you know him he gets on here and gives us way too much money all the time.
Thank you, Jesse.
Great guy, but he actually came to me a few 6-8 months ago and said, hey, I've had a lot of people ask about coaching, and I try to direct them to you. but they can't afford it, or they really would rather work with me because they know me, and I don't know. And long story short, I was like, are you crazy? You love this. Do it.
Yeah.
And he's been churning out results.
That's great.
And I see the pictures, and you can see the passion in the client. And it's not like, look what I did. It's look what they did. And it's just really cool to see. So if you are getting started, don't be afraid to take that jump and understand that anyone who hates on you, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, he went out and slayed it. He's doing awesome. And he also knows, because he's a solid guy, if he ever got stuck, he has my phone number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have people's phone numbers. If you think that Ron and I have never discussed a situation with a client, like, hey, I ran into this and I've done this and this. Am I missing anything?
Yep.
Like, we have. I've talked to Chris that way. So there's nothing wrong with getting started and knowing that you've got people around. I mean, I would call Scott. You know what I mean? You know that, Scott. That is the beauty of this industry when you get in with the right people, and that's how you learn and you know, grow. I mean, I'll ask people about things that went well. This went really good. Have you done this before? You know what I mean? Because, you know, sometimes something goes really well and you're like, huh. So just something to think about to all of you that are in there, because I know there's so much hate spewed on people beginning new businesses, and it just makes me laugh, because there's more than enough people who want to get in shape and want help to go around. So I encourage people, just make sure you're becoming an expert. That's my big thing. When people say, what's the first step to becoming a good coach? I'm like, be an expert. Truly immerse yourself. And when you're doing well, don't stop learning. Don't start taking courses. Don't stop researching. Like, we are addicted to that side. There's a reason I can't watch a lot of TV. I much rather go out and expand what I love doing. And it just means I listen to a lot of stuff and read a lot of studies, because it's fun.
That's what the podcast is all about. You know, I mean, we have, so my thought with putting all of this together was that I wanted to be able to bring together a bunch of different perspectives, all people that I respect, all good people that I could, that way, because here's the thing, I could listen to you talk all day, Dusty, and at the end of the day, I might learn a lot, but I'm only getting one person's perspective. And I found, at least for myself, the way I could educate myself most is learn from you, learn from this guy, learn from this guy, take it all and kind of see, well, what are the common themes here? What worked for him? What worked for him? What's going to work for me? You know what I mean?
Yep. Love it. Love it.
All right. We've got a bunch more stuff here. You sent me this video. Can we throw this video up you sent me here?
Oh, yes. I love this. I love this.
Let me see if we can roll this in.
Sit there and do and kick ass and lift weights and have fun and watch what good things happen, instead of like every rep I have to focus on this and everything I have to do this and I have to write this down, and if I'm not hitting I had too much fat today, I got to cut my carbs out. It's like, just work out, man, and eat food, and you'll really, really love this sport.
I like that too. That's good. And I feel like that's a new perspective. It's almost, I'll call it like the Sam Sulek effect. Because you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where he's coming from. And I love seeing that this is coming back in bodybuilding, because there's been so much, as Ron would call it, the spreadsheet bodybuilding that's been happening for the last 4 or 5 years now, you know?
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you, because I saw it this morning. It just made me smile, because I thought back to when I started bodybuilding. And we've talked about this, so I won't waste everyone's time too much. But it's like, you went to the gym and you were like, how can I kill my biceps today?
Yeah.
That was it. Like, there wasn't a lot of like thought in the beginning. And then it was, you got to eat to grow. And I was like, well, then I'll eat everything. And it, you know, obviously I'm not suggesting that's the best route, but I will tell you that I had a lot of fun, which is the reason I'm still in the game.
Yeah.
And it's also how I found DC training. Like, I love that he mentioned I got to write everything down. And the reason I love that is because I loved the scoreboard. The moment I was introduced to a logbook, I was like, oh, I mean, I played hockey. I win today. I won that exercise. But if that's not you, then don't do that. You know, I mean, I've had to remind people, and I know Fuad's been really good about this in his career as well, is saying, I never said you should do this. I'm just saying this is what I do. And I want people to understand that more and more, because at the end of the day, the perfect plan that you hate doing will give you less results than an okay plan that you love and you won't quit.
Yeah.
Because eventually when you quit the perfect plan, it all comes to an end. So you really should make sure you're enjoying that process. And I feel like when we had a lack of information back in the day, some of the things that we did that were wrong, it was because we didn't have a place to look for an answer. And now all we have is answers being puked at us nonstop. And it's the only way to do it. That's my favorite thing is the absolutes that go on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the amount of people who have tried to use Sam to get themselves some clout just by putting him in a video. And I'm like, why are we hammering this? Like, who cares? Because my answer is always the same. Look at him. Like, same thing with someone I used to look at Branch Warren and I think to myself when I was a kid, like, I think that something would snap in my body if I trained like that. But if it wouldn't, I probably would try it because it worked so well for him that I'm curious if it would work for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or on the flip, a lot of guys get success with like super slow training.
Oh, yeah.
I have an attention span of a goldfish. I'm not going to do it. It's too long. I can't wait 5 minutes for a rep. I'm bored. I forgot where I was. I'm out. You know what I mean?
So what would happen if you and
sweet
Justin
spots.
Shier trained together?
I would bring him to the dark side. No, actually, here's the great thing, though. Justin is a perfect example because I don't think he trains too slow. Yeah. I think he trains flawlessly.
Oh, he does.
You know?
Okay, I didn't know what you meant by like super slow because I feel like his.
Oh no, I mean
by standard, like average standards, I would say his negatives at least are.
It's very controlled.
Slow,
yeah, controlled. Not
okay.
Like for example, if you're going so slow that I can't watch your reel.
Oh yeah,
because like I looked away and I got a drink and you're still on that rep.
That first,
I'm just
rep,
bored.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging your reel. It's just I don't want to do that. Justin's another perfect example because here's what I love about him. You can't argue it works. I mean, look at him. But he's also the first one that'll, see a video of someone like me. I'm like doing a bent row, just yanking it all over the place. And he's like, great set.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. And he doesn't think to him. I promise you, he will comment if we put this up. He doesn't think if he trained my way, his back would be better.
Right. No, of course not.
I would suck either way. But no, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very key that people get that through their head and find, like you had said earlier, and it was ringing in my mind, like find what works for you, but not just physically works, but that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. And I think sometimes we forget that because just because Branch Warren trained that way doesn't mean you should. Ronnie Coleman doesn't look the way he does because he trained that way. Because he trained intensely, I will definitely say is why he looks like that, and his genetics and all these other things. But I bet if he trained intensely in a different fashion, he would still be a freak.
It still worked for him. Yeah.
I've had so many people, and back when I was getting started, and I know you've been here, I'd have someone go, Phil Heath doesn't train his back like that. And I'm like,
they still say
you suggesting that if I trained like Phil Heath, I would look anything like him? Like, I appreciate the compliment. I do. But it's just not how it works. So, just something to think about with the process. And I love that Mike put that out because I do think you're right. Sam is putting an impact on the industry that's awesome because it's like, are you having fun? Because Sam is having fun. You weren't there when we trained that night. Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, like it was so funny because you come in there and, I just met Sam that weekend.
Right.
And it's just a bunch of dudes who like to work out. And I love it because you go into a gym and you quickly realize I'm not training next to soon to be 5-time Miss Olympia, Ian. I'm training against a bunch of people who like to work out.
Right.
That's it. Like no one has names anymore. Once it's gravity and a closed locked door and some loud music, and I think that is what's awesome. That's why half the people in that room are retired and are still killing themselves.
I love that. Yeah.
So very cool.
Hey, we had some other stuff. I had a personal question. I've been meaning to bring this up for like 3 weeks now. And my water bottle reminded me of that because this is Trader Joe's water. Do you guys ever go to Trader Joe's? And if so, what are your 3 favorite foods from Trader Joe's if you go?
Of course I go to Trader Joe's, number one. Okay, this is going to be funny because the foods are a little all over the place. But first thing is they've got those cubed garlics in the freezer section.
Oh, yeah,
They're like little squares. And you can get them at any store. But theirs are better because they got a little plastic cover that snaps back on.
Oh, okay.
Very key when I put it back in the freezer. I just had a whole 2-week debacle with the same brand, but it just had like a little, like one of those like slide up clear tops.
Yeah.
That didn't stay on.
Oh, it's like, like cellophane.
Shit.
Huh.
Sorry. So those.
Yep.
Also, little secret of the pros, don't tell everyone. But if you will have their dark chocolate espresso bean covered like chocolates that are by the front door in a little square.
Yeah.
You have a few of those during your workout. It's like eating off of a square plate during your workout.
Huh. You eat
Absolutely.
them between sets. You just pop a couple in your mouth.
No, I will get to the gym and I actually like keep them in the bag. So I just have a few. Like I'm like, it's a leg day. It's a 4 bean day.
You count them out for legs and okay.
Yeah. You know,
Maybe
so you
3,
go up
4
with
for
that.
back.
So that's a great gem from there, everyone. And it lasts a long time. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
And the science says in the off season that increases gains for sure.
All right.
And then the last thing, let's see. There's so many. Oh,
they have so many good things there.
pea chips.
Pea chips.
Yeah. Huh. Like they're like the green. It looks like a green bean, kind of like this, but it's just a little chip. Delicious. Google it.
I'm going to do that right now.
They're awesome. So what are your things while you're Googling?
Hold on. I can't Google.
Awesome. You can't do both.
This is where Ron comes in because I'm in the background. I can type this
you're
stuff
just looking them up.
But while he's got a story about like, oh, yeah, one time I ran into.
I could say Pete. He would talk about where they came from. He's like, well, actually.
Yeah, he would have that, or he would like have ran into somebody, a good pro or something at Trader Joe's.
You know what? I actually remember a time. This is funny. I forgot about a story about Ron. So we were at Trader Joe's together.
Is this it, by the way?
That's it.
Okay.
Amazing.
Huh.
So the story.
It's like a chip.
And the cool thing about this story is no one could check the validity. But we were actually walking out of Trader Joe's and Dorian Yates was there and he didn't want any more of his pea chips. And he said, hey, Ron, do you want these? And once again, he said no.
Ron was like, nah, I don't like pea chips.
I don't want pea chips and I don't want your salmon.
Ron was like, I just ate, and I would have, and then I thought about it for like 3 months.
He still thinks about it. It's the closest I ever came to firing Ron during Nikki's prep was that story.
That was he's lucky. Let me put it that way. He's lucky.
Very.
All right. Let me see what else we have here. Oh, you
didn't even give me your 3.
Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to talk too. I forgot about that part. Man, so here's the thing. I forgot about Trader Joe's until a couple weeks ago. It's kind of like you're not going to go to Trader Joe's to get all your normal stuff. You know what I mean? It's like when you go to Trader Joe's, it's like a special event. And for us, I'm going to tell you, man, Victoria and I, one of our dates is going to the grocery store. I don't know why, but we enjoy grocery stores. When she first came here, like the first day, we went to like 3 different grocery stores. We're getting snacks from all these different places. Like, I don't know.
It's just amazing.
It's just our thing. It's just our thing, man. In fact, one time we went to
you're letting everyone know that you're rich right now, though.
Yeah.
With this administration, shopping being your enjoyment tells me you have too much money.
I bought a bottle of water, Dusty. All right.
That was $72. It used to be 38 cents.
Trader Joe's is pretty cheap. That's the other thing I like about them. Their prices are pretty reasonable. You get their meats are pretty good and they're not that expensive. I like to look at their cheese section. They've got a good cheese section. Get some like maybe a weird, like funky, like extra sharp cheddar from Ireland or something.
Right.
And then I get apples. They always have really good fruit. So we'll get apples. Oh, and then maybe there'll be like some sort of
date apples. Is that where the date apples come from?
Yeah,
now?
they sure do. And then
maybe
there'll be like some other fruit, some other weird fruit that like we've never seen before. And we'll buy that.
Like a banana. Yeah.
And then we'll get like the little bouquet of flowers because Victoria likes to put those out, and then we have flowers for the next week or so. I
forgot something that we have to add.
Oh, what's that? I'm going to look something up. So you tell me.
They have grilled peppers with onion. They're like actually have like grill marks on them. They're frozen. They're already cut up.
Yeah.
Great for when you're like, because I like to just mix peppers in with like chicken and rice or steak and rice. You just like pour some of them out of the bag and you've got red, green, yellow peppers and onion that are actually like grilled, pre-grilled and then just frozen.
Yeah.
Dude, anybody who's ever watched my YouTube seen those 100 times. I use them and everything. So I can't believe I didn't forget that.
So I got this protein bar and I've been dreaming about it ever since. I have to go back and get another one. Have you seen these?
No.
Oh, they're so good. I don't even know what the macros are. In fact, I'm going to look
right now. Who cares?
Let's see. So you're getting 18 grams of carbs. 3 of them are fiber. 1 of them is sugar. Okay. 5 sugar alcohols, 20 grams of protein, and 8 grams of fat. So that's not bad. Dude, it tasted like candy. It was like really freaking good. So
I'll be checking those out for sure. That sounds fit. And that was Trader Joe's too, or no?
This is Trader Joe's. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And they aren't that expensive.
Don't derail me.
Yeah, they aren't that expensive. Let's see. Amazon has
like $3 a piece, $2 a piece.
Yeah, they're like $3, something like that. You get a case of them here for $27, $28 on Amazon. So, excuse me, I didn't know they had them on Amazon. But yeah, so that was my number one were those things, and then the fruits, like I said, and then they have these little it's fast food basically. They have these like little mini taco things, and it's like a hard shell. It's like a corn tortilla.
Taquito?
I don't know. It's like it looks like a little taco, but it's only that big. And they're frozen, and they have like chicken in them. And it's like a corn tortilla on the outside. And you put like a dozen of them in your air fryer, and they get like all crisped up and stuff. Those are the bomb. They're really good. A little salsa. They awesome. Get that mango salsa they have, and you're good to go.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
Yeah.
That I know.
So those are my 5.
Dude, I just got I'm like planning a trip to Trader Joe's and I leave the country tomorrow. I got to knock this off.
Oh, yeah. You're leaving tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
How many flights is it?
Just 2.
Just 2.
Easy breezy.
What's your layover?
I think it's like an hour and a half, which is kind of what you want.
Yeah.
You want a short layover because, or I should say, you want a long enough layover that you're not risking a miss.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we've all been there. I'm actually looking at it real quick. Boom.
Do you know where?
Exactly 2 hours in Munich. So,
okay. So you're flying all the way straight there, and then just a little hop over from Munich.
Yeah, I always do that because I go from Charlotte, so it's always like either direct or like quick, and then a puddle jump.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
What's the time on that?
The total? First flight is 8 hours and 40 minutes, and the second is 1 hour. So,
okay.
Quick 10. But you know what's weird, Scott, is I think because of the lifestyles that we have, I don't mind the flights. I get in like a zone out mood.
Yep, me too.
And I'm just so chill the whole time, and then we land. Like even if I don't sleep, I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I watch. I got to download some. So I'm banging out Game of Thrones now.
Oh yeah.
So
I've been wanting to watch
5-6 episodes.
I've never seen it. Have you watched it before?
No, I just started. I finally committed to it. I like to wait till things are long over.
Right.
And I finally, it was like a coming to like adulthood.
Yeah.
I came to Nikki one day and I was like, I'm ready. She's like, for what? And I'm like, Game of Thrones. And she just had this proud look on her face, and she's like, we will start tonight. And we did.
So she's seen it, right?
Oh yeah. She actually almost didn't date me because I hadn't.
Yeah, you realize that you and I are the only 2 people that haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the only one now because you're already watching.
And and apparently I'm in like the heart of it. I'm like 3/4 of the way through season 3.
Okay.
And I know everybody. I've got a new girlfriend. There's a lot going on. I'm allowed. so it's cool. But yeah, I talk about it in front of her. So
have you watched The Gentlemen?
No.
It's good. So Dave Crossland told me it was originally a movie, but it's a TV show. And what's the guy's name? The director is Guy Ritchie, if you know him. Like very violent, violent kind of crazy stuff.
Nice.
It's a good show, man. Like you've got
how many seasons?
I think it's only one. That's the thing. I know.
That's what sucks though.
But it's so good. There's that, and we finished Fargo. Fargo is so beyond good. I'm going to tell you, it was probably my favorite TV show I've seen in a long time. Like I was sad for it to end.
Oh, you like lost a member of the family with that one. That sucks.
Yeah. Season 4, I think, might have been my favorite. And they cover like the Italians versus the blacks in like Midwest gangs. And it's kind of, and you kind of want everybody to win and everybody to lose at the same time. And it's in like the 1950s, 40s, 50s,
right?
Something like that. And they just, the era feel of it is so good. You're like getting, and like I mentioned too, Chris Rock is like the head gang guy of the black crew. Yeah. And he is so good. He's so good.
I can't even see that role. I'm going to have to check that out. That's great.
And you don't have to
watch that on my, can I buy all the season like today?
You can, and you don't have to watch them in order. Like each season, there might be like a little piece that like this guy, like the first season is about a topic.
And this is Fargo.
Right? Yeah. So the first season has a storyline. The second season is like the girl's dad when he was a younger cop. So it's like back in the 70s. So it's like it ties in. It's all over the place. You don't need to have seen it. But anyway.
Cool.
I had something else I need to show you.
I forgot completely that we were on a show just now.
For the audio people, I am putting up a picture of Nikki. She just competed over the weekend, and she looked freaking amazing, man.
Yes, it came together awesome. That's iPhone quality for anybody keeping score. It was an awesome weekend for sure, and you'll love this, but. Ron brought her into the show, obviously, everyone knows. Went flawlessly. The big thing that she struggled with was the water pull because we did not do that. She drank like a little over 2 gallons Friday night.
Okay.
And Friday throughout the day, obviously, and normal food. Almost no changes aside from just slowly bumping up the carbs the last 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And then on Saturday, she ate 1 meal and went to prejudging because we always eat a meal in the morning and then there's a long, long gap before our second meal. And that is what she did for the show, and it came out flawlessly. And so she got her first win, which the interesting thing is, and it's tricky, but at this point in time with the women's physique division, my big hope was just that there was going to be someone she could compete with, because what's happened is it's not a huge division to begin with. And those who have graduated to the next level have graduated. So they either graduate and turn pro or they stay qualified. And so, the odds of seeing another really good competitor or a handful of them at a qualifying show is pretty low. She competed against a lady who was in great shape.
Oh, she looked peeled
which was
too.
Really exciting. So, just didn't have the muscle mass. But it was awesome to have her like on stage with someone that was good too, so it was cool. And she, the other lady, somebody who probably would have won almost any show she could have entered.
That's what I was thinking.
It was just that show, so that was cool. And now 6 weeks before she can finally do what she's really excited with, which is going out, seeing if she can make a couple tweaks to be a little better. Just because that's immediately your goal.
Of course.
And then she's looking forward to the fact that now you're in shape and you get to experience dieting for 6 more weeks.
Yep.
Coming in a certain way. She was really excited because, you haven't done this in 5 years.
Yeah.
And she already obviously saw that she looked better than ever before, but like, how is she going to feel on stage? And it was actually amazing because she did her prejudging, and when she came out, multiple people stopped her that didn't know her and were like, "You're different. Like, that was insane. And I was like, oh, because I thought, obviously I know that because I know the sport, but these are people who don't know her and don't know me. And I'm like, that's a good sign. And then when she did her finals routine, when she got done with it, Steve Payne was expediting at the show. And we're talking, she's the last, I think the second to last or the last person on stage for the night, because they had all the pros first, then the NPC. I think the only thing left was maybe open bodybuilding, but for females, but she may have already done it. And she did her routine. And as she was walking off, Steve Payne was like, that was amazing. And I think that's a good sign, cool. Because as you know, at the end of a show, like, everyone's kind of tired and you kind of want to go home. And, so it was great. So she's looking forward to doing the next one. And obviously this show will be a big step up. There's going to be a lot of great competitors, which will be fun. But like we were talking on the way home from the gym today, and she's excited because she knows it doesn't matter the result, because what she really wants to do now is take a year, put on some muscle, and see what she can do with it as it being a goal again. Yeah. Because, as she shared in her post, like, this was kind of she hadn't trained in years. I mean, she went to the gym, but just trained to be in decent shape and live life. And then, give or take 9 months, 12 months ago, I kind of, you ever think about doing this one more time? So she's excited to see what will happen. And the nice thing with that, and that's something I think more competitors need to think of, is the result of your show doesn't change the work that has to be done. Yeah. So if she goes and wins and turns pro, great. The things we need to do, we need to do. If she goes and takes third because there's 2 girls better, great. The things she needs to do, we still need to do. It doesn't change anything. And I think people need to get away from being overly attached to that outcome if they really love bodybuilding. Yeah. Yeah. What are you guys going to try to do over this next 6 weeks then? Like, what do you want to do to improve on what you guys already have, what she already has? So a couple little things. I want to work a little bit more on mind-muscle connection on posing. Because there's certain things where, she'll move and I'll see her muscle jump in a way. And I'm like, no. So I got her some exercises to do on just firing your muscle, your foot on the ground, your foot not on the ground, your foot seated, like getting your brain to connect to individual muscles so that she can pull them out. Because when it happens, you go from like, oh, you look great, to, oh, what was that? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's going to work on that, because again, you got to remember, like, there's been no reason to do that. Right. She's just going to the gym, she's living life. So now it's just reconnecting. That is going to be a big thing. And I think that'll light it up a ton. And the next thing is just, as you know, when you stay lean, things just keep getting better. They really do. And we didn't used to see that, because we used to get in shape for the show, and it all kind of came down to that. At least I did, 15 years ago. It all came down to that moment. You got on stage, and then it was over, and then you immediately went back into off season. There wasn't like you continue to hold it and do another and another. So I think I missed out at times earlier on because I hadn't figured that out yet. Yeah, so it'll be really cool, and I'm excited because it was surprising. I think anybody who competes or has competed and stopped, it's actually really fun to just be like on the sideline. I was more like, if we're gonna put up her routine at some point on Instagram, and I had to put my arm on a post to film because my hand was shaking, which made me laugh. Yeah, because I don't get nervous for anything. Like, I did the USA's for the first time. I'm like backstage joking, laugh. Like, I don't care. And I'm like, so this is what nervous is. I always wondered. Like, I mean, my hand was shaking. Like, it's the worst filming you've ever seen. And I'm like, new feeling. I am quite nervous right now. So it was super fun. But I think that more people who get, it's like when Victoria, got her Lifetime Achievement Award. Like, you were losing your mind at a level so much higher than her. And I'm sure she was ecstatic, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's different when it's your person. You're like, oh, yeah, like, this is crazy. And that was why I put my post up last night, because the reception from people was like so crazy to me. You're like, wow, like, these people really, I mean, because we were busy. Like, we got done with the show. We hang out with friends. We went to dinner. I got tired. We went to sleep. And I never got a chance to post. I had about, no exaggeration, 25 to 30 messages. What happened? And I'm like, so I just answering individually because I didn't have a chance to like get on and post yet.
Yeah, I just went to her page. I went to her page and looked at her stories earlier on, and I could see, oh yeah, she's got this. And then I knew from there. So
yeah, so it was cool, very cool. But I did want to bring up one thing that bothered me about the show, and the show, first off, was phenomenal. Tyler judged it, and I haven't really had a lot of experience with him. I like him more and more, and I'm retired, so I don't have to kiss ass. And I never did when I did, but the way he runs a show is phenomenal. The way he speaks to competitors is phenomenal. He's just a very blunt, because he's a hardcore wrestler. Like, he's not afraid to hurt your feelings if you're slacking off, like, and I love that about him. It's very, cut and dry. But the thing I didn't like about the show that has nothing to do with him was we still have promoters treating female bodybuilding and women's physique like the redheaded stepchild. And what I mean by that is you've got all these classes, okay? And every division, I should say, all these divisions has class winners and overall winners, okay? Every single division except for two. Two divisions, no overall winner, no nothing. Now, I think a lot of people might say, well, there's not that many competitors. Well, I think there were 7-figure competitors. There was no overall.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, I know what those trophies cost. They cost nothing. In the grand scheme of what I spent this weekend, paying for friends to come to the show, paying for my kids to come to the show, entering the show, you can afford to spend $50, $70 for two more trophies, for these big things. And the reason I care, just so everyone knows, it's not about Nikki winning the show. We don't have a single trophy in our house. She will not hang her medal. It's just not our deal. But it's just the perception that if you want something to grow, you don't treat it as lesser, Yeah. And I think it's important that people realize that what has started to happen in the sport is you're doing figure, right? And you love to train. You like to get, move some weight. And all of a sudden they're telling you, you're a little too big for figure, sweetie.
Right.
But good news, we got women's physique. And she's like, oh, sweet. She moves up to women's physique. She's got a new home and she's cranking and she gets to do what she loves to do and grow and put on muscle and these things. And then some of those girls hit a point where someone says, nudge, nudge, I think you'd do better if you went to open bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So there's a home for you called women's bodybuilding. Well, if we're going to expect to see the pro levels continue to grow, we can't cut them off at the knees at the amateur level. Make it exciting. Make people know that you want to see it. Because I can tell you right now, I was in the crowd, and when done properly, a lot of people were very excited to watch a good women's physique competitor put on a show. You know what I mean? If you've ever watched Drea on stage, you understand you don't want women's bodybuilding to die.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine never seeing her compete at the level she is now. She would have never developed her physique to the level it is now, had that sport not been here for her.
There was no home for her without it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And think of how she's impacting the sport and other things. And you know what's funny? Other than this show, I only messaged one person about this, and it was her.
Yeah.
Because and again, I want people to understand, it's not about Nikki. I don't care. If she wouldn't have won, I would have said the same thing. Because she went out, she got her thing, and then she came around. I'm like, well, what are you doing? She goes, oh, there's no overall for us. And I was like, weird. Okay. So I just found that interesting, and I think a lot of promoters should consider it. Because if I'm in the crowd and I don't know anything, then I'm like, oh, the other divisions are the ones that are popular. They're the ones they want to support. You know what I mean? Because it was a whole thing. You got to remember, too, so the overall winner was getting one of those bags that are really popular and this trophy thing, and most of this stuff is donated by the sponsors.
Right. Yeah, you would think that you should definitely have that same attention. It's not like Nikki didn't pay as much to do the show. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I want people to get. And I will say, and just to drive this home, the show was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the way they ran it, I mean, by winning, she won. She got one of the things that was part of her win was a completely blinged out suit from one of the people. That's $1,000.
Yeah.
So dude, I want to make sure people understand I'm not hammering the show. The show was phenomenal. It's just a small detail that I think goes a long way in remembering that we're trying to grow all of the sports because they all kind of feed each other. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it, because I don't think that, that like all, Michaela or somebody said, I'm going to become a female bodybuilder one day.
No, she just freaking loved training. You know what I mean?
She just loved to train so much. And they said, hey, if you keep doing what you love to do, you're going to do pretty decent in women's bodybuilding, AKA be one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And so she had a home and she gets to keep doing what she wants to do. Because I can tell you what would happen if not. And I don't know this, but this is my thought. I think that she would have left because she loves to train more and she loves to compete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wouldn't get blessed to watch her do what she does like we are now. We wouldn't know Drea, you know what I mean? So I really hope that we can kind of get that message out, because I can tell you, and I feel the same thing about fitness. I love watching fitness routines. I hate seeing that it start to dwindle. And some of that's just lack of people who are able to do that.
Right.
But, we should definitely be fanning the fire of all the divisions. That's all.
Well, at least you didn't get beat up backstage. That's a bonus.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, I didn't say anything about the show till after, so I got to go to a show this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, I heard all about that whole situation over in the UK. And I've always heard that whole two bros thing is shady,
Oh, yeah.
That there's people that there's a lot of control stuff going on over there. I don't know firsthand. I never met the guy who ran the thing, but everybody I know who's had anything to say about them hasn't had anything nice to say. That's for sure.
Here's what I will say. When the Arnold disconnected from them overseas, that's it. There was a problem, and there were things I can't mention that I know about that you're like, oh, this is shady, and then seeing what down. And I actually don't know the guy that this happened to, but I saw who was vouching for what kind of a person he is.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, it's very obvious that he didn't just go in there and look for trouble. And listen, I got a decent ego with believing I can handle myself. And at no point do I go, oh, 4 giant men, I think I'll fight them. All of them.
Yeah.
Because, I just recently watched, John Wyck.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to realize that. And what I'm excited about is the IFBB did not hide behind it. They immediately posted it.
Oh,
and
they
I
did?
think they'll be, they put a thing up on their site that said, hey, we're investigating what happened. And I think we will see them gone. And I hope from my little bit of research that it helps the competitors over there at the amateur level have a new way to make it to the pros. Because from what I read, and someone will correct me if this is incorrect, but in some places it's the only way to turn pro is to deal with that circus.
Yeah, that's like in the UK, you have to go through Two Bros. That's their version. That's like their NPC. Yeah. So interestingly, they have so many organizations over there, FedEx and NABA and a couple others. But Two Bros is the only way to get to the IFBB. And then even the IFBB guys were kind of like leery. When I was at the Fit Expo, the IFBB guys, a lot of them didn't want to go there because they were afraid that they wouldn't do well, in placings. It politically wouldn't look good to be at another organization's expo, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We don't have any of that though. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if it was like that here, if we had more competition. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we don't have that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just grateful for the way it is, because you can. I think for the most part, in our side, everyone wants to see things get better. So
yeah,
criticism is a good thing.
Well, we had a bunch of listener questions that we did not tackle today, Dusty. Right. There's an eclipse happening right now, believe it or not. It's not full yet. Let's check this out. I'm getting updates.
Aren't you going to go check it out? I thought you were going to go look at it.
Well, I want to, but here's the thing. So this was 20 minutes ago, right here.
Yeah.
And this is now. So it's coming. And I think I heard like 3:00 or something is when it's supposed to be.
We got to tie this show out then in the next 9 minutes. That gives you time to get there.
All right. Let me see if we've got another. Do we have anything good? What about, I sent you one, Dusty. And
I want you to close on that one. I like that one.
I was going to say, maybe we don't have enough time to cover this one, but I suppose we shall. This is on the Dexter Jackson episode. And he says, I just need Scott to take some hard positions, not the, for me personally, middle ground spots. What does he want from me, Dusty?
I love that because, my first thought, which I sent to you, was, Scott, fine. What is something besides Trader Joe's that you absolutely stand behind that you would say, and that it can be covered on the show, because the weapons behind you can't be covered on this show.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they technically can. See, I don't want to get political. I try to not get political on the podcast because I feel like people who come here, they aren't coming here because they want to hear us rant or talk about, all these different world things. But I'll tell you what, I think that one thing I will get a little political. I think that we are being controlled. You want me to get serious for a minute, guys?
Yeah,
and really late on you? I genuinely believe that we are being controlled by every source of media that you consume, including this podcast. They are controlling us so that we can deliver the message that they want you to hear. Believe it or not. Right. We edit ourselves in certain ways. There's words that we don't use, and we create a society that is then afraid to use those words because we're not using them. It's controlling. It really is. It's all a big psyop, if you ask me. But hey, I start saying stuff like that, and it sounds political and it sounds crazy. I guess I could have went with something really fun, like I'm all about McDonald's. I think that McDonald's is great hamburgers. How about that one, Dusty?
If you like eating plastic.
I disagree. 100%.
Like, there it is. We can stop right there. He disagrees 100%. He didn't say in my opinion. He said
100%.
No, Dusty, you are wrong. No,
every bodybuilder should go through a phase where they eat, not every day, but they should go through a phase where they do McDonald's for every day. I'll say 2 McDoubles, 2 medium fries, 2 apple pies. That's going to be your meal 3. Then a clean meal 4, then train and just watch what your pumps are like.
Interesting take that I have that I covered with someone. So their chicken nuggets, like we all know, there's not like a lot of chicken and all these other factors with their nuggets. Yeah, and they're so good. They're so good. I still never got into them. I don't care. Oh, dude. So I do the what's it called? The Big Mac meal or something. So what it is it's 2 Big Macs. Or no, that's not true. That's a different meal. No, this is it's 20 of the nuggets, 2 cheeseburgers, 2 medium fries for like $15. Oh. Okay. So it's a nice deal. And then the Big Mac version is the same thing, but there aren't so it's 2 Big Macs, 2 fries. I forgot the other ingredients, but I like those big like meals for multiple people because I'm multiple people. Yeah, you got it. When you go to McDonald's, you have to order enough food that they think it's for more than just you. They assume that you have somebody in the car that that you're like. If I go with Victoria, they assume like, oh, this is meals for both of them. You have to. He's not fat. He's sharing. No, he's fat. I like that. That's a good plan. Also, they have a great Sunday if it's ever working. So good to know. I haven't had their Sunday in a long time. What about the McFlurry? Is that what you're talking about? McFlurry is great, but a McFlurry is very expensive. I'm old school. It's just the vanilla soft serve with the chocolate. Boom. Okay. Yeah, the McFlurry's a little pricey. It's great. McFlurry's great. But I mean, the last time I took Nikki to get one, it was actually, I think, her last cheat meal that she had in January. Yeah. She got one. And when it came out, I was like, how much was that? Like, I got a little judgmental of McDonald's for a moment. I'm like, what just happened? So did she get to eat a cheat meal after the show? Yeah, but you'll love this, and only a competitor will understand this. She didn't really crave anything terrible, and she wanted something a little light. So she actually got like a shrimp salad.
Okay.
Caesar, like not like healthy, but just something that she like sounded really good. Yeah. And then she got some pretzel bites, which were like these bigger pretzel things with like a cheese sauce to dip in that were great. And then we got some, I think, pork belly nachos, which were great.
Ooh, so that sounds
we went to
good.
We went to Culinary Dropout, so very good.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, good little joint. So
how did she look the next morning?
Veins everywhere.
I bet.
And exploding. You know, obviously her stomach felt bloated, but and we're actually going to do, we did sushi last night, and we're going to do something clean for one more thing before I leave. And then when I get back, she's locked back in. I guess tomorrow morning she'll be locked back in, but we got plenty of time. So having a little clean date night for fun. And then that's it. Yard House, our favorite easy go-to, you know?
Nice.
So, but we got to close this out because you need to get upstairs before we miss this opportunity.
Yes. So, and we're going to work on possibly a live episode next week, guys, right? Because you're...
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, we're in. Because, we both get back on Monday. So we'll be good to go for a Wednesday
So
live.
Stay tuned for that, guys. Stay tuned for that. I still have a couple, reactions in the bank. So we'll use those up while you guys are gone. And, it's just a little housekeeping there, Dusty.
I like that. Well, one more time as always, don't forget, I'mMutant.com. This week we're using Big Ron 20. If you can't stand Ron, Dusty 20 still works. And remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, and Scott. And
it's all a psyop. Oh, and hit the bell.
And ring the bell. Whew. It's a psyop. I like this. So that's it. And remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.